Welcome to Getting Back Up, where grief meets growth.
Two men, two fathers, and one shared journey of rebuilding.
We're talking about life after cancer, love, loss, and everything no one tells you.
Well, let's get into it. Let's take it now, right, to the moments after our late wives passed away, right? So this gets very much into like our process and our processing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what was your experience? Like, where, you know, is you know, when you found that quiet room, or finally, like, what was that process like getting there, and, you know, for you?
The quiet, you didn't know what to do with. Still children in the house too. So it was then thinking about everything that's typically routine. It's, do I put the pillows in a symmetrical way now? do I get all the pillows how do I make up the bed? Can I sleep down the middle?
Right.
If I want now?
Right.
I mean,
diagonally now?
Or
right.
whatever.
Like all these, yes.
And you know, the fight of sheets and pulling in the morning, you realize that you're shivering because one or the other has pulled off the sheets. So it's thinking about those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I was off from work and all the other things. So you really have more time to think about routine and what's going on and all of that. So yeah, the quiet time I think was walking for me. I just got out the house.
Yeah.
I just started when Nolani was going through it. I would do the same once I got home from the hospital, and I just realized no music, just take it all in. We live in a place where, and anywhere for anybody, doesn't matter where you are. You're gonna each time you step out on the street or the trails, if those are near you all, that's great. You're going to see something different, and it's going to speak, oh, that tree there, or, oh, that kind of bird, or, oh, I didn't know we had squirrels here. Right. Whatever it is. You know? Right. But I think those are... They're deer? Well, sure. And where you and I live, we see them all the time. So I think that was the most quiet I could find, was just kind of stepping out the door and seeing things. What about you?
Yeah, I think it was, so I think it's a little bit of, because Janice passed in the house, the quiet was like near immediate, right? There was no drive from a hospital. There was no, the silence was deafening. Like the silence that went out of the house when she passed, other than obviously the immediate moments after where, you know, her mom is crying and everything. And like, I think for me, silence didn't come until very, very late the night that she passed. And it wasn't the silence of like everybody sleeping. It was more kind of similar to your experience. Like when everybody stopped calling, right? Or I had to finally stop calling everybody and stop worrying about it. I didn't get to think about myself probably for like 12 hours. Yeah. Right. And I don't know if I'm supposed to, you know. I think it was more like I'm calling, you know, the funeral home to come and get her. We called 911 or somebody, I can't remember who called 911, but like, it's all of that time and all of these passing moments. And for me, I did the same thing later on after the kids were sleeping. I actually went for a walk, like late at night, like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. And, you know, where I lived in Austin at the time was kind of fairly rural. And it was just the sound of nothing. Like I didn't need music. You know, at first
Could you hear music even at that time? Do you remember?
Okay. To be honest, right? I think from the moment that Janice passed, I don't really think I heard or absorbed anything, you know, that I remember. I mean, I know I talked to people. I know I called, you know, my stepson. I know I called, you know, my parents and everything. But the silence and the moment and the reflection didn't come until I got home from that walk. Yeah. And it was now time, peeked in on the kids, checked on my mother-in-law, you know, and came back into the room and realized my wife died in this room, right?
Yeah.
I can't sleep in this room.
And let's back
Right.
up so people
Yeah.
understand where in the place that our wives passed. So since we're right there with you
Yeah.
in Austin and in your setting, let people know what the setup was there.
Yeah.
And take us through that moment that she passed there and some of the elements.
Yeah, I mean, our room, the bedroom was basically set up like half hospital room and half bedroom. Like we had literally pushed all of the bedroom furniture over to like one half of the one half of the room. And on the other half of the room, there was essentially a hospital bed because that's the only thing that she was able to be comfortable in. There was hospital equipment, IV, and all of that literally in the room. So like
Beeps and everything going on, like a
the
hospital.
whole, I mean, she, we would take. She had we had hospice in the house, so they would come up and they had all of the, all the racks and the bag hanging there and everything, and like all of
Different
that stuff.
Colors, blinking,
buzzers, like the automated,
everything.
push the button so she could self-administer. So all of that was there. But so for me, walking back into that room, it was kind of, for lack of a better word, this schizophrenic, experience. It was like I'm walking back in and there's this setup, and then the other side of this bedroom, and
not to mention the rest of the house.
Yeah, the rest of the house. Yeah.
This is the wing of the home hospital.
This was the hospital. This is the hospital wing, right? So yeah, I walked in there, and I think I walked back out. I slept in in the living room.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was that moment where, for me, it hit me like I can't stay in this house long term.
Yeah. But let me back up. Even before that, if she's in a bed by herself, there was a moment that you broke where you no longer slept together.
Oh yeah, there was no. Yeah, we
so
couldn't,
that's
we couldn't from
jarring.
As probably for the last, 30 or so days.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. There was no sleeping in the same bedroom. I
Right.
mean, even when there was, they're in the same bed. But even when there was, it was very gentle. Like she was in pain. So like it was me on one side of the bed, far away, making sure I'm not swinging and kicking during my, during the
feverish
sleep.
dreams.
I learned to sleep very still, right? and I'm sure Jordan appreciates that now that I don't swing and kick and all of that. But
especially when our late wives and your current wife probably think we're hot bricks in the bed.
Exactly.
And you generated too much heat, baby.
Snoring too much.
Yeah, exactly. All the things that we do wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
So it was just deafening. It was hard to process it, and you're thinking in that time, like, oh shit, it's just me now. Right. That was a difficult thing to process. And I know for you, like your story was a little different because she passed in a hospital. So, I mean, what was that like? Like leaving the hospital? Or did you? Like, what was...
Yeah. 'Cause I went many nights and stayed. I stayed overnight. They set up a little bed for me and whatever. And I had my own bed, something more like a mini futon, basically.
Right.
It's fairly comfortable. And so I don't know if they did this for you guys where they warm the sheets and put it on.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's nice.
Is that... Oh,
It's
you felt
nice.
like a hotel, not a hospital.
The luxuries of
Did
of the
hospice
hospital.
do that for y'all?
No.
Oh,
Hospice
okay.
came. They were solely focused on focused on Janet.
Okay.
There was no. She got warm sheets. I don't know. I mean, they might have warmed it up in the microwave. I'm not sure, but yeah.
But I remember. Oh gosh, I remember that. So
that's
they,
nice.
I mean, they're just trying to make folk feel as comfortable as they possibly can. But yeah, that going home, and I think it was different than you. And reflect on this, please. That I was able to leave the clinical setting,
Right.
and go to where I felt most comfortable at home, where my children are, where my neighborhood is, and those people, and comfortable, familiar confines.
Yeah.
In that sense. So we're talking about the passing and those moments still.
Yeah, those moments. Yeah.
It was a different kind of quiet. And figuring out, okay, well, that clinical piece is over, and I was driven home.
Yeah.
And remember, I had to tell the story to the next morning to the girls, and
we'll talk about that.
Into that. Yeah. But it was finding a different sound and what silence means now, and how long the silence will feel this way, sound this way. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. It does. So it's interesting having to take the drive home. I think I would have appreciated the drive home.
Yeah.
Because when Janice passed, there was a do not resuscitate, the DNR. And she like I said, she literally signed it like a day or two before. And so I would have appreciated the drive home, because I didn't get that. And I think that was part of the challenge, or the lack of quiet, was like I had to immediately go into thinking about everybody else.
Okay.
Right. The kids were upstairs. My mother-in-law was there. Janice's friend was also there. And we immediately went into, so of course, your natural reaction, I did. I called 911. And I called 911, and I think my mother-in-law called my brother-in-law. And fast forward a few minutes, 911 gets to the house, and I'm walking to the door, and it hits me like, well, she's dead. And there's a DNR. So I literally opened the door. There's fire engines, police, there's neighbors coming out, to the house. Some who have come outside before, and some who haven't. And we're seeing everybody, and I'm like, and police they've got stretcher, they're walking in, and fire department is there. And I'm like, she signed the DNR. I said, there's a do not resuscitate. And they slowly they didn't stop, but they acknowledged it, but they needed to keep going. And that was like a moment for me where it hit me like, I can't even ask them to bring her back. I can't even ask them to fight for her. And I think in those moments, these are all the things that you're processing real time in those moments, right? In those moments after, where there's still decisions that you're trying to make, that you think you should be able to make, that you want to make, and they're not there. Right.
What? Give me an example.
Just the idea of being able to looking at a police officer and saying, you can't help me. Right. Like, there's a decision that was made the day before that nobody can help her, that's it. And there's a finality to that. Right. And that to me was like the first thing that really kind of set the process forward in motion. And, and I'm pulling back before the night of silence and everything else. But I think that was a moment where it's like, wow, like this is not going to be easy, right? Like, to go through this. And then I think after that, you start, then I start observing, and I start seeing people, and I start, my brother-in-law came, and he was praying, and, he was very religious at the time, and he's got a jar of holy water, and he's splashing holy water on her body, and he's praying. And mind you, this, like, the cops are leaving, and they're hugging me. Like, these are, I'm sorry, like, I'm just, our history, black men, and our history with police officers. We're not embracing the police. They're coming and they're hugging me, and I'm like, and I need these hugs right now. Right. Wow. And I need these hugs, and and they're hugging me, and the fire department, they're patting me on the back, giving me the one, and I'm like, I need this so much right now.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
And again, to go back to the oncologist crying when she realized that professional,
cancer is her business, and death is every day.
And it goes back at there's so many. The thing that reflects to me through this whole process that there are so many humans involved.
That's
and at the end of the day, it's about people and caring.
Yeah.
And that was something that I think for me in those moments, it was good to see and hear. My neighbors would come in, but it was just difficult. I mean, either way, it was a difficult thing to process.
Yeah.
So your drive home and then, you know, having to, step into that, take those first steps into your home.
Yeah.
Right. Like what was the realization there, or what was kind of that thought process there?
Just that I am moving forward, taking whatever steps I thought about, kind of back to the hope for the best, plan for the worst, and trying to live that.
Yeah.
And then starting to think about different calls. You just have that shock and numbness. And then you're starting to think about, okay, here are these next steps.
Right.
I'm going to have to call people, but I'm just getting home late night and all of that. Again, I had to go downstairs and last episode or episode back and tell the first person who was looking after the girls while I was at the hospital. With the Porsche. Wow, yeah. It's funny, but it's funny. It was I was trying to keep it all together there. I mean, come on. That's what you have to do in comfort. And, anyway, so yeah, but I just really had to think about, all right, we know the next steps are coming. We're planning for not only the calls, gathering the people up, getting ready for, I didn't even really think about it, as you and I have talked about, is staying where I am or moving.
Right.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Really in a conscious, okay, now I've got to pack up but I just knew to do all of those different things.
Right.
So the coping part and the processing really of the loss is where we are now. And finding those steps, because more steps are going to come.
Right.
So it's thinking of it in a practical sense. Because it's, as you said before, we're thinking outside of ourselves now.
Yeah.
It's everybody else. We can be numb, and people ask us all the time during that period, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Are you okay? And
yes.
Hey, I'm best I can be. All things considered.
Yeah. Or then for some people who you ask, you have to respond, I'm all right. Are you?
Yeah.
Right. Like, because there's some people who you have to hold up. Unfortunately, like, as much as we're trying to hold ourselves together.
Yeah.
Right. And be strong for our children at that time, we're also having to hold a lot of other people up in this process. Yeah. And I found myself having to be very conscious about not worrying about everybody else.
Right.
Like, actually committing to, Jamal, it is not your responsibility to hold that person up right now. Not to say ever. Right. But being able to say thank you, and then, and respectfully, I don't have time for you right now. Yeah. I got myself, or I got these kids. Right. Right. And being able to think like that was the part for me sometimes that was, like, I would say the most difficult. And then I think being able to think about, I think being able to be respectful or honest with sometimes, and just say to myself, like, you can't, no, I'm not trying to hear that, because people would say crazy stuff. Right.
Such as,
people, I mean, it's for the better. No, it's not. I know my wife was suffering, but it is not for the better. Yeah. Because these children's mom is not here anymore. That's right. Forget me, her, and lie. Like, their mother's not here right now. And that's not for the better.
Right.
Right. Like like my wife is not here right now. That's not for the better. My mother-in-law's daughter is not here right now. That's not for the better. So, I mean, I get it because it's for the better. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
She's not suffering and this has been a long journey.
Right.
But no.
And I think people don't know what to really say.
Yeah.
You never really do. And particularly if they've not gone through it. And I'm not saying it's not judgment of those folks. It's difficult to figure out. There's really not much you can say, and then maybe it's just listening.
I always say the best thing you can say is, I don't know what to say.
Right. That's true. It's honest.
I don't know what to say.
It's honest.
Like, I think that for me, but and again, it's no slight to anybody, but it's just, I think in those moments, like fresh off of, literally day after, moments after, and my family has just lost this critical piece of our puzzle.
That's right.
And there's not anything I want to hear.
Yeah.
The police officer who just hugged me and said I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was probably the best in the first 24 hours. Like
That's right.
First. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
And it's not the human aspect. It's not just part of the job.
Right.
It's the humanness.
Yes.
Is that a word?
Sure.
Yeah.
It can be.
Let's
now.
use it.
Yeah. It's in the dictionary as of today.
Right. So then we kind of talked about it a little bit, but what were you supposed to do in that time frame? But what did you actually do?
A lot of daydreaming.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it was daydreaming. I think a lot of processing, a lot of phone calls, family. But I think what I actually did was like walk around almost feeling aimlessly. I mean, almost feeling like aimless.
Yeah.
Like to your point, like what is the next step? Like what is the routines that you have for so much of your life with these women are, to your point, like, make sure the pillows are straight, right, on the bed. And, you build these routines in life together around yourself and your partnership, and then around the children and supporting them. And if you've got extended family and friends, they become the normal part of your life. Like those become your routine. And now this major piece of that is gone.
And comfort maybe too, such as those things about.
Yeah.
You and I very much about don't leave dishes in the sink overnight and these different things. Mm-hmm. But did those things become comfort as well? You're dealing with all these other people. You're doing what you're supposed to do and what you actually did.
Right.
And you work with these people and their different emotions as it relates to the loss that they're kind of processing. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of sink into the comfort of routine, or you find that refuge or salvation in the routine and maintaining those things. Did you feel any of that? Or
I know for me it was, I don't remember, to be honest, who fed us that day or how we ate. Because I don't remember even.
Was there stuff in the refrigerator? I'm sure.
There's
folk
bringing
some things.
Okay, I'm sure. I mean, we had a lot.
Anybody have some banging mac and
family,
cheese or anything like that?
There's lasagna. There's mac and cheese. Definitely. There's the staple, the staple food that comes with the food train.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Good.
But no, I'm sure it was figuring that out. But again, it goes back to the things that you're thinking about in that moment, and those moments after have nothing to do with the routine. They have nothing to do with normalcy. They have everything to do, for me at least, with what the hell am I going to do raising these children by myself and not with my partner.
Yeah.
Right. That was the first thing. That was the primary thing that I thought about, that I remember thinking about continuously. And then obviously, I think top of mind, bouncing between 1 and 2 was, are the kids gonna be okay? Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that was it. That was it. Number one for me was, how am I going to do this? And you said it. Like, I think you had said it, in episode 4, when you and Nalani had that realization that I'm going to be here by myself. Right. And I think it was, yeah, I think that was, to me, like when you said that, that was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, how am I, I'm by myself now. How am I supposed to do this by myself? So, yeah.
Interesting. Let me add to what you said, this sense of you're by yourself, but and you'll find a way to get through. What I think, going back to one of the earlier episodes, I don't want to forget, is Nalani saying to her friends and girlfriends, take care of my girls. Take care of my girls.
Yeah.
Because they're going to need that. And I one of my friends was joking, and I asked, well, what about me? Like, she was like, he'll be okay.
Right.
I'm like, wait, what? That's kind of callous.
It was part of that. I mean, it's true, right? Because, I mean, yeah, we all get the moments after, right? Like, you talk about,
the moments, yeah.
You have the friends and the family and the people who come into your life, and they're stepping in. Right. Because, Nalani and Janice said, make sure you step in. Yeah. Right. And I don't know. It's funny. It's like, did they not trust that we could figure this out? That we would.
These women going to go, baby, just go sit down.
You go sit down.
I'm going to.
Here's your plate of food.
That's right.
I got the girls.
Yes. Why don't you go take a walk? Why don't you go take a walk? I got this.
Exactly. So, but it's true. It's like in those moments, you realize, again, I think that's a good point, right? Because it's like you're realizing, wow, what is my support system?
Yeah,
now? Who's going to be there to help me when?
Yes. This. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
When I have to go work, when I have to do this, when I have to go on a work trip, when I have all these things that you start imagining the future will be like. Right. Honestly, I mean, I think you're in all of those thoughts, and you keep coming back to, I can't believe she's gone.
Oh yeah, just the thought. They flash through your head. Oh,
right.
But she's not here for.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think to cap it off, and then we'll have some other things that we'll kind of cover here. I think it was really this sense of, it's kind of funny the way our wives were, and that's who they said those funny kind of things, obviously. But they were saying, because I trust him.
Right.
I know he understands what's most important.
Right.
I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
And also, as you said, they're looking ahead because they know those moments are going to come.
Right.
The different milestones, and they're preparing. So
Yeah.
even though the journey is done then, she's thinking about others and making sure that the legacy, that the offspring are taken care of, they're as well-rounded as they possibly can be.
Yeah, there's some consultants in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it was also our wives accepting that they will no longer be here.
Yeah.
Whether they were saying it directly to us in some movie setting with lights and music, which doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah.
It was that acceptance. There was no longer denial of them not being here anymore. Yeah. So I think it was also that. Yeah. So, yeah.
We talked on it a little bit around kind of the things that you think in those moments. So the part that comes back to me that I remember thinking, and I mean, one day we'll spend time on the music that influenced us.
Oh,
I think that'll be a cool episode. We talked about doing that, like the music that got us through certain periods.
Oh yeah.
There's a moment for me, I remember thinking, and this is like how we find the peace, but how we also make these connections. Yeah. These weird connections. I remember thinking the way that Diddy did after Biggie passed
Diddy again?
away. Diddy again. You know my references.
Oh,
the way Diddy did after, in Life. I forgot what song it was, but he said, "What the fuck I'm gonna do now?"
That's why we have a rating, guys, so we can say stuff like this.
It's all fucked up now, right?
Oh, I remember it was like an outro.
It was an intro, outro,
on his solo album, right?
On his solo album, yeah.
Man, we were giving Diddy a lot of credit.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, but
the music was banging.
But that came from. I mean, I remember that being. It was like the first production that they did after Biggie passed,
right?
And it was like the whole To go back to that for that moment, the whole rap industry was like, "What are we gonna do now?"
That's true,
right? And for me, losing Janice in that moment was what the fuck am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? Like, what is our family gonna do?
Yeah,
What is this family gonna do now?
Yeah.
Because she was this big part of that, and those are those reflective moments. I know it's a weird connection to connect, Bad Boy with that, but
it's very you, it's very us, because we also. Look, we have a soundtrack of our lives,
yes,
man, with all the music you and I
Yep.
listen to and can refer back to. And when we think of certain songs, we can think of the memories at that time, that moment.
Yeah.
So it has to do with our youth and running the streets and all the other stuff in a good way, Mom. So if you're watching, just be clear. And then it also reminds us the shared memories we have with our lost partners and friends that we've lost and what have you there. So I think music is very powerful because a marker in time and history for sure.
Yeah, I think that is, we think about that, right? In these first moments and through each step of the process.
Yeah.
Those resources that help you through this. For me,
do you have some?
Many times it was music.
Okay.
After she passed, and even a little bit before she passed, I'd started meditating. Like before she passed, I would be at work and would be doing something and literally look up and realize, like old people say, I lost time for like 20 minutes. Like I had stared at a blurry screen for 20 minutes, and I realized I needed to find a resource besides my counselor to actually like just ground myself and accept what was going on and be okay with it. So I started meditating. I found a couple apps. There's a few out there just to like teach you how to meditate, teach you how to find and be okay with that silence and the thoughts and find calm. That was one that I really started doing. Journaling. So I love to write, but from probably the first week after I found out that she was diagnosed, I started writing. And it wouldn't be every day, but there was times where if I found myself overwhelmed and unable to process what I was thinking or unable to kind of like communicate with somebody, I would just like write, write my thoughts, write what I'm feeling, write what I'm afraid of. And I think those are a couple important ones for me. What about you?
The walking, as I mentioned, just hit the streets. I also think that my mother eloquently lived a life as a widow. And so she had multiple years of making herself still interesting and interested in life, living, learning. And so she wasn't one of these, oh, woe is me, because she's gone through lots of stuff.
Right.
We'll maybe get into it on another episode about original programming in the household, because maybe that will be a topic later. But my point here is that I could call my mom and she would listen to me as someone who has gone through it, not just I'm her son and she's lost her daughter-in-law who she dearly loved and had an amazing relationship. 3-4 hours on the phone. Sometimes I'm going in to the bedroom and she's talking to my mom 3-4 hours and say, hey, that's my mom.
Right.
So I think it was that for sure. I think music always was there too. I remember even putting music together for my mother when my stepdad died, who was an amazing man. So yeah, I think it was exercise, just can't stay in that area, get a breather, get some different oxygen outdoors,
find a way
and coming back. So I think really that's what I did, just checking in with people as well, and people you can just laugh, and we're not going to talk necessarily about, not avoid it because it's an uncomfortable topic, but reflections with people and laugh about certain things, because that's what gets us through is laughter, so we keep from crying to a great extent. I don't care if you're male, female. Well, I don't care. That sometimes it's particularly, it calls for it at this time. So you definitely have to do that. So so I think that's closes out that aspect of
Yeah.
what we wanted to cover.
Yep.
And just really talking about those first moments.
Yeah.
After your late wife is gone, and whether you're leaving a hospital or you're leaving a room in your house where your late wife still needs to be processed in the right way, and that grief, and then the next stages of the cycle of life,
right,
and that celebration of life, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, and I think you have to accept that the uncomfortableness and the awkwardness of these first moments are okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's expected. Nobody's expecting you to jump out and solve everything right away. And they might not be expecting you to solve anything ever. But I think you have to be in a place, and I know I did as well, have to get comfortable with just letting myself accept and acknowledge what happened, letting myself, and some of this is retrospective, right? Letting myself begin the grieving process, however that happens, right? And at times being okay, saying, okay, well, I'm gonna let a few people stand here with me because I need to be held up.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a theme throughout, that you do your best.
Yeah.
And you let people pick up the slack for you and help you. Those who have gone through it, those who have a right sense of what is appropriate based on the memory of your late wife and what have you. So,
So, listen, man, good discussion.
Yeah, man.
And, I think it's good for us to reflect on each part of these. And one of these is those first moments.
Yeah.
So hopefully that, in your experiences in your life, you've had, the opportunity to support somebody going through this. And if you had to go through this yourself, you didn't do anything wrong. How you reacted, how you responded, it's probably perfectly fine. And, if this episode helped you, hopefully you'll reflect on it and be able to, share it with somebody else.
Yeah. Pass it on to others. And really, we're building this conversation around community, and we hear so much from others. Please continue to do that. Reach out in the ways and methods that are there for you through our podcasts, through our socials. We definitely want to hear from you, because we want to incorporate your experience as we broaden this out. Because as Jamal and I were just talking about this before we stepped up here, it's going to visit everybody.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
so thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Getting Back Up, Finding Life After Death. If something in today's episode spoke to you, pass it on, because somebody out there needs to hear this.
For sure. We're on all the social mausoleums, so follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Mostly it will be in the form of Get Back Up Podcast.
And be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast.
And remember, getting knocked down is part of life.
But getting back up is how we live.
We'll see y'all next time.